Hey kids, it's the Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Now today I'm out and about on another bike review, and you will have already seen from the description, this is MT-07 Tracer. Now I haven't ridden a Yamaha for absolutely ages, and I've got no good excuse as to why not. So thanks very much to Sam and the guys up at Brian Gray Power Sports in High Wycombe, my local Yamaha dealer, for letting me bring the bike out. Stick around for the next couple of minutes, I'll let you know what I think about the bike. My initial thoughts, I have to say, very, very positive, but stick around, stay tuned, and I'll tell you why. So the first thing I have to say about the Tracer is what an amazingly comfortable bike it is. Now, I say that about a lot of bikes, but this really is. When you jump on it, literally, within the first 5 seconds of me being on this bike, it felt like an old pair of slippers. And I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that entirely in a good way. It just feels super comfortable. The seat just sort of cups your backside nicely. Your arms fall nice and comfortably to place on the wide handlebars, and your feet just find the pegs automatically. Very, very nice from a comfort point of view. Really impressed with that. And that was the first thing that leapt out at me. I mean, this is one of those bikes that you know, it's not a sports bike, it's not anything exotic in any way. It's a practical, honest motorcycle. And if you want something to commute on, then I'm thinking this is perhaps the ideal bike. Now, I haven't ridden any Yamahas for ages. I've got no good excuse for not doing so, because I'm a Yamaha fan. In fact, my first sort of big bike was a Yamaha, an XJ6, which I really enjoyed. And this reminds me of that in a lot of ways, in its feel and its sort of build quality and so on. So I must thank Sam and the guys up at Brian Gray Power Sports in High Wycombe, my nearest Yamaha dealer, for letting me borrow the bike to review. Been looking forward to this for a while. And so far, I have to say, I'm not disappointed. So I'm going to hunt out some different sorts of roads, do a bit of town work, some faster roads, some twisties, and see what the Tracer does. But as I say, initial impressions are all good. In terms of comfort, rider position, very nice indeed. I'm going to hunt out some twisties now and see how she handles. The suspension on the Tracer, it's set, well, I guess I would say it's on the firm side of comfortable. It's not uncomfortable in any way. In fact, it's quite a plush ride, and it makes for a lovely handling bike. It's nice and stable, and if you're going to be doing a bit of touring as well on the bike, then you could ride all day on this. It feels like you're quite high up. You're not actually, the seat height isn't that high at all. It's very easy to get your feet flat on the deck. I'm only 5'8", but it's very confidence inspiring in terms of getting your feet on the deck, so no problem there. But it feels like you're sitting in a nice upright position in terms of view over traffic and so on. You know, sort of a commanding view, I guess, is the term that people use. The brakes on the bike I would describe as okay. They're not absolutely amazing stoppers in that they bring you to a sort of sharp stop in the way that you know, say a sports bike would. And in fact, if anything, you could describe them as a little bit maybe spongy. I don't know if that's because of the brake lines on here aren't braided hoses, they're just the rubber type, and it may be that swapping those out would make them feel a bit sharper. But to be honest, that's not it's not really a criticism. The brakes are absolutely fine, just not super sharp. So it's a bit greasy and slippery out on the roads today, but of course, this being one of the modern breeder bikes, it's got the electronics that you need, by which I mean traction control and ABS. So you can, you know, I don't intend to be silly on the bike, but if you did grab a handful of brake, the ABS is going to cut in and save you, or hopefully save you. So that gives you a bit of confidence as well. The screen on the front here is manually adjustable. You do that by loosening off these two nuts, if that's the right word there, and then lifting it up or down. It's sort of set in the mid position at the moment, I think, and I have got a bit of wind coming off and hitting the top of my head, but it's not sort of what I would call dirty air. It's not particularly turbulent, so don't feel the need to adjust that at the moment. Gearbox is very, very slick. Yeah, so when you come to a halt, it's surprising, because as I say, you feel high up sort of on the bike, but actually you can get your feet down, no problem at all. And the engine is surprisingly smooth actually for a twin. Engine technology has really come on a long way. There's no horrible vibrations through the handlebars or anything like that, but you can hear the twins sort of thrumming away in a completely inoffensive way, but it sounds nice. It sounds like a motorbike should sound in my mind. This bike actually is, I read, the lightest in its class. I think fully fueled it's something like 197 kilograms, and the lack of weight I really appreciate. You can, it just feels agile and so flickable. Now, I rode to the dealers on my Street Triple, which is a lightweight flickable bike, but to me this feels even lighter than that. I mean, it's not, but it feels it. Now, I really didn't expect to be particularly impressed by this bike, because as I say, on paper there's nothing amazing about it. It's not an exotic bike, it's just a realistic bike. But yeah, I really like it. It sort of fills that niche in the Yamaha range that the old Phasers did, if you remember those. It reminds me, the looks of it reminds me a little bit of the Phaser, which isn't a bad thing, by the way. Yeah, it rides really nicely. So what I need to do then is find a useful little place to stop and do the obligatory walk around, show you the bike and tell you a bit more of the technical specifications of the machine. I really like what Yamaha have done actually with the weather protection on this as well. I mean, not only have you got this quite big frontal area that keeps the wind off you, but they've incorporated these sort of bodywork-esque hand guards in. Just keeps the wind off your hands and any rain, of course, so keeps your hands nice and toasty. I really have been away from Yamahas too long. I forgot how good they are. Sounds great, the little engine on this. It's got plenty of go. It certainly doesn't feel sluggish, and in fact, you know, it feels almost like a bigger engine to me. I guess this bike sits in that sort of same category almost as where the Triumph Tiger 800, which I like very much, sits. Okay, this doesn't have any sort of off-road pretensions that the 800s do, of course, not their pretensions, because they in fact do go off-road, but it's a similar sort of riding feel in terms of the way you're sitting on the bike, the way the thing feels. If anything, this feels lighter and more flickable. I remember when this bike came out, I read a lot of reviews, as I do on lots of bikes, and I didn't read any bad reviews. Everybody said how good these were, and I thought, well, you know, how good can a 700cc sort of general bike be? I didn't really believe them, but actually, they haven't ridden it, I completely get where they were coming from. This'll do. Bryant's Bottom, what a great place. Right, show you around the Tracer, MT-07 Tracer then. Right, let's go for the iPhone variant. There we go, makes it nice and smooth that way. Right, so here we are then. This is the Yamaha MT-07 Tracer, which the guys at Brian Gray's have kindly lent me. I think it's a handsome looking bike. I don't know if you could, sort of wasp-like at the front, if you like, and does remind me, as I mentioned, very much of the old Phaser, which was a nice looking bike too. Quite a nice colour. I have to say, Yamaha always do good paint finishes, and this is no exception. Okay, so the all-important specs then. This is a 689cc twin-cylinder bike. As you can see, it's sort of a sport tourer, if you like. Power-wise, it's 75 brake horsepower, which feels absolutely adequate to me. The seat height, 835mm, which sounded quite high, but actually it's very, very comfy. As I said, it's nice and wide and deeply padded. When you sit on it, in fact, your legs are relatively wide spread, which actually feels quite comfy to me, makes it feel under control. Weight-wise, wet 196 kilograms, which does make it, Yamaha say, the lightest bike in its class. Fuel tank, it will carry 17 litres of fuel, so compared to the MT-07, which this is obviously based on, that's a bit better. I think it's 3 litres more than the standard MT-07. And price wise, according to the Yamaha website, it's 6,849 on the road, so less than £7,000 for a what I can see as a very nice general sports tourer commuter type bike. There are all sorts of options that you can get for it as well. If you do want to go down the touring route, then there are some soft panniers you can get. There's a touring screen, you can get heated grips, all that kind of stuff. So let's just come in and look a bit more closely then at some of these features. So, as I say, paint finish, really nice on the bike. Up front we've got twin discs. They're Yamaha brakes. As I said before, they're adequate, nothing amazing, but they work absolutely fine. I love some of the attention to detail they've got on the engine casings, for example. The various sort of finishes on there I like, and the way they've just shaped that engine cover looks good. Neat little exhaust, which sounds great. Hideous tail end, but you know, crying out for a tail tidy, as so many new bikes are. That's just one of those things that can be easily fixed, I'm sure. And then at the front end here, you've got these hand grip things I talked about, which also hide the indicators, as you can see, but also act as a useful extra bit of weather protection. In terms of controls, very straightforward and simple. This side, just your normal stuff, so indicators, high and low beam, horn, that sort of thing. And then on this side you've got your starter and your hazard lights, and there we go. And it's got a very clear dash as well. We'll maybe talk more about that in a second. Alright, that's enough of a walk round. Let's jump on, do some more riding. Okay, just coming into the lovely town, delightful town of High Wycombe in Buckinghamshire, said with a slight hint of sarcasm. On hunt for a bit more traffic, actually, just to see how this thing works in the urban environment, because what I'm thinking at the moment is if you want a bike to take you to work reliably every day with some good comfort and weather protection, with plenty of power, and is lightweight and flickable for filtering, then you'd have to go quite a long way, I think, to beat the Tracer 7. Great view over the top of the traffic here, because of this what feels like a high up seating position. Good mirrors. And absolutely no drama weaving through traffic. The clutch action is nice and light on here, by the way. Don't think I mentioned that. And the gearbox is as slick as you like. Nothing behind me too close. I'm just going to yank the brakes on, see if the ABS cut in, but didn't notice it if it did. And the brakes were perfectly sharp enough there. Well, I hate to do these bike reviews where all I do is say good things about the bike, because I think people will smell a rat and think I'm just saying that because I want to be nice to the dealer that's lent it to me, and that isn't always the case. There are plenty of bikes I've ridden that I didn't like and said so, but I'm really struggling to find anything about this that I don't like. My sort of previous best all-round mid-weight machine for sort of doing the town work stuff, I guess, was the Triumph Tiger 800, which I loved, because I love the rugged looks. I'm a Triumph fan, I like the triple engine, etc. And it just felt nice. But this is right up there with it in terms of its practicality, I have to say. Sounds great. So there are. So to summarise then, what do I think of the Tracer 700? Well, I think you already know what I think of it. It's an absolutely lovely, great little bike. I mean, if you're maybe if you just passed your test and you want your first big bike, then maybe this is one well worth considering. Or if you just want a reliable machine to get you to work on a regular basis in all weathers, then the weather protection on this seems pretty good to me. Then again, well worth considering. It's comfortable, it goes well, it sounds nice. Nice light clutch, gearbox is lovely. It's got practical electronics on board. It's not hasn't got loads of riding modes and things like that, but it's got what you need, i.e. ABS. Mirrors work well. Suspension feels nice. Handling's great. Really flickable. Super lightweight and friendly to ride. Overall, if I were to give bikes like this marks, then 10 out of 10. Really like it. So as I come back to the Yamaha dealers, I hope that's been of some interest to you, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.